Right, there we go. Good morning. Welcome back to the DanGoesOutdoors YouTube channel. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, feel free to subscribe. I put out videos most Sunday mornings, which seems really popular. You know, people like to have a breakfast and get a bit of a fishing fix if they're not on the bank that day. But yeah, today I'm continuing my spring carp fishing at a local gravel pit, and I'm just down for a day session. But I'm pretty confident, you know. I got here early this morning, about 6 or so, and did the usual, walked up and down the bank a bit, stood in a few swims watching the water, and although I didn't see any carp, I saw quite a few tench off to my left, and then I did see a couple of tench in front of me here as well. And I know this swim's been receiving quite a bit of bait recently, and the bailiff confirmed that, so I thought, you know, I'll drop in there, I'll just see what's going on. Now we are supposed to get a bit of weather later. It's already clouding over. It was really nice when I got here, but yeah, there's some grey clouds on the horizon, the wind's picking up, so I do have my bivvy with me, but I'm going to try and tough it out for a little while first. But yeah, got 2 rods out in open water, nice spot 60 yards out, a little bit of bait over them, a couple of high pop-ups, because although I'm getting a really good donk, it's still pretty weedy there, like, you know, very low lying weed. So I think what we've got is that sort of like candy floss type weed over the top of a firm lake bed, which is good for feeding fish, I'm sure. Right, I think about putting a 3rd rod out, maybe closer in, but for now I'm just going to watch the water for a bit. Right, I've just had my lunch and I'm a little bit bivvy bound now. It's chucking it down out there. I had sandwich, crisps, Doritos, Twix, apple, Satsuma, Naked Bar and some Haribo. Yeah, I don't believe in being hungry on the bank, especially when you got your barrow. You might as well take a bit of food with you. Not a lot happening out there, haven't had a beep or anything like that. There's been a grebe working the area around my baited area a lot of the day, so I don't know if there's something going on out here, if there's a lot of small fish out there, but I don't know if the grebe would be there if there were big carp in the area. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm keeping an eye on it. And basically I'm waiting for it to slow down a little bit, which it kind of is now, and I'll go out there and maybe put a little bit more bait over top to try and stir something into happening. Yeah, let's see. It's hard in these day sessions to know what to do really, because you've not got long to experiment. It's 6 o'clock and decided to call it a day now, and pack away while I'm up for it, because it's either do it now or do it later when it'll be just as wet but also cold and dark, so might as well get it done now. Yeah, I can pop back pretty much the same time next week, so let's hope we have better luck then. I'm in my shed just getting ready for tomorrow's session, and yeah, unfortunately it doesn't look good on the weather forecast. It's barely going to get into double figures tomorrow. It's going to be windy, rainy, with a northerly wind as well, which is never great. So yeah, I'm not massively optimistic about my chances. So what I thought I'd do is take some time in this video to look in detail about a couple more aspects of my carp fishing. And what I thought I'd do is show you inside my bait bucket, how I put things together. Because I often say like, oh, I'll put 3 or 4 spawns over that rod, but I don't go into detail about what's inside it. So I thought we'd look at that this time and, you know, hopefully make something of this video. But yeah, I pretty much just used boilies, pellets and corn, and that's it. Mainly because I can't be bothered preparing particles. Perhaps not being bothered isn't the right term, but you know, not having the time to do it. Like literally right now, my tea's in the oven because, you know, I don't want to spend my evenings soaking hemp, boiling tigers, whatever it may be. I know it works and I've done it in the past, but yeah, just being able to do this, it's a lot more instant and I think it still gets good results. So yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing. The boilies are a mixture of a couple of different fish meal boilies. We've got the Smoky Jack from Spotted Fin that they were kind enough to give me last year, and then I've got some Baitworks Atlantic Heat in there as well. Both really good fish meal type baits, and you'll see that I've halved all of them. Now I'm a big fan of half baits because in theory they're still the same circumference as a round bait, so on the bottom they've got the same visual impact, yet it's half the amount of food. So I've got twice the amount of pieces of bait there for the same amount of boilies. So again, in theory, it'll take the fish twice as long to eat all of these. And since I'm fishing really weedy, silty lakes, these half baits really, just like that, flutter down a lot more and settle on top of the weed and don't quite bury as much, or at least I hope that's what they're doing. So yeah, on my day sessions, you know, I mainly do day sessions, the odd overnighter here and there. I don't have time to feed the fish. That's not what I'm there to do. I just want to attract them. All my bait is doing is getting those fish onto my hook bait. If I was confident in fishing just single hook baits, that's what I would do. So yeah, I mainly use boilies as sort of like the main part of the mix, up to 50 to 60% of it. And that depends on the time of year. If it's kind of post-spawning, late summer, early autumn, yeah, like almost 2/3 of my mix will be the boilies, because I think that's what the fish are after. They want that food. But earlier on in the year, kind of springtime, I'll be putting a lot more corn in. I don't particularly care if it's canned or frozen. You know, it's not really there for its like smell and taste. It's more there for its visual and the fact that it's pretty cheap, so it bulks out my mix a lot. And I think sometimes, especially in the springtime, the fish might not necessarily want to eat a really, you know, like fatty, lot of food in their boilie. Even if you use like a nut type bait instead of a fish meal, it's quite a meal. Whereas a bit of corn, you know, you can peck at a salad, but you might not want to eat a whole steak. That's the way I think of it with the fish. So anyway, yeah, I'll get this corn in there. Since I don't think I'm going to need a lot of bait tomorrow, I just grabbed a small can on my lunch break today. So that's going to go in there, juice and all. It's worth saying, when I use frozen corn, I do still microwave it and add a little bit of extra water to it, because I think that kind of really corny juice is really good attractor. And as you can see, it's kind of, I'll choose my hand, whatever. It's wet my boilies already. And what I like to do is I'll now put the lid on that, go and have my tea probably, come back, and yeah, those boilies should have absorbed quite a bit of that liquid. Then I'll add pellets. Now, it's as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. I've got quite a mix of pellets here, because every time I'm in a tackle shop I can't resist buying a bag. I do go to commercials every now and again where CARP pellets are what you have to use. So to show you this, I've got a, you know, big bag of 6mm CARP pellets from a fishery there, because that's all you're allowed to use there. But you could literally just buy one bag of whatever you want and just use that, and I still think that would be pretty effective. On my shorter sessions, I love pellets because they're breaking down, they're always putting something out that the fish can get into. Whereas on those kind of like longer sessions, like I did, you know, I don't know, like almost a week-long session before, I was feeding a lot more boilies because I can afford to take the time to let those boilies break down and bring the fish in. Whereas on these short days, I've not got that amount of time. So I really want the visual of the corn combined with quite a lot of pellets that are going to be giving off a lot of taste and smell during the day. Plus these kind of halibut pellets, like I've even taken some 14mm and smashed them up, got them in there. They're really oily and they're going to be pinging a lot up to the surface, so as fish swim by, it'll bring them down. Now, I don't think a lot of people use pellets, at least not to the level that I do. You know, a lot of guys would now add hemp or party blend or whatever to that, whereas I'm adding pellets. Not quite yet. I'm going to let the boilies soak in a bit more of that liquid first, because I don't like it too wet when the pellets go in, like especially these 6mm CARP pellets. They'll just turn to mush in that, so I need there to be a little bit less liquid in there. Then I'll add the pellets. So yeah, we'll come back to that in a bit. Right, I'm back. We had Korean beef skewers with roast vegetables. Really nice. So yeah, the boilies have absorbed a little bit that sweet corn juice. I'd like them to take a bit more in, but you know, I've not got time. This is the whole point of it. So pellets are going in now, and you'll see not loads of bait there. Mix them around. Whoa! So yeah, not tons of bait. I'm only going for a day, and like I said, this is just to get the fish onto my rig. So I tend to fish like 2 spots if I can. Yeah, maybe half a dozen spawns, something like that. But it serves a purpose without taking ages to do. And in the past, when I've really not got a lot of time, I will literally just grab a few handfuls of boilies, handful of pellets, tin of corn, boom, and I'm ready to go. And I still think it is pulling in just as many fish as like a prepared particle soaked boilies type mix. You know, the fish can't not know that's there, both in terms of, you know, smell and the visual. They can see it, they can smell it. When they eat it, there's some good food in there. The boilies, although there's not a lot of them in there, it's real good quality stuff, so they're gonna come back for it. Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, let's put this to use. Alarm set for sort of, I don't know if I'm gonna go 4:30 or 5. I suppose half an hour won't make a massive difference, so I'll do 4:30. We'll get there, we'll do a lap, we'll see what's going on, and just fingers crossed, yeah, even in that terrible weather, something happens. Morning, here we are. I told you it'd be like this, just wet, miserable. Had to put the bivvy up first, which kind of breaks all rules, but that's just the way it is. I don't want everything getting soaking wet. And yeah, I'm basically fishing opposite where I was last week, perhaps a little bit further down the lake, because the wind's now coming northerly. So I want to be up this end, so I'm on the back of it, but I don't really want to be properly on the bank where it's coming over my shoulder, because it's quite shallow up there. So I've moved along a bit into a little bit deeper water. Already found a couple of spots out there, about 50 yards, one left, one right, same distance, perfect. So I'll get one rod on each, a little bit bait over top, just getting this busy because I'm getting soaked already. The right hand rod now, and this has got to be on a very specific spot. The spot itself's wide enough just to cast kind of wherever, but there's a real like specific area where it's trundling back over something. It's like doo-doo-doo-doo. So I'm kind of aiming to be near that because I think it might be a little touch of gravel, maybe some stones or something, which you don't often get in this lake. That second time definitely got a bit of a donk, so I think we're on that clear spot. There we go, and again, yep, carp just hurling itself out to the right here. That's got to get a rod on it. Right, I've got a third rod, let's do this. My bivvy is now an absolute mess. Wasn't even going to put that third rod out, but after seeing that fish crash, I had to. And yeah, amazing to get the swim choice right. I'm so kind of proud of myself, really. You know, I used my watercraft, picked this swim, didn't actually see any fish, but then just to prove me right, one crashes out. Oh man, that's amazing. It was a big fish as well, big dark mirror, yellow belly on it, amazing fish. So just to recap, one to the left, one down the middle, one out the right, all on higher trap pop-ups with just a little bit of that mix I made up over top of it. Brilliant. I'm hoping that as this weather picks up, fish are just going to move a bit more into this area or get pushed around a bit more. Man, I'm confident, I'm buzzing. Great. Okay, I'm gonna move one spot to my right. There's more fish showing down there than are in front of me, and I'm having to be a bit tactical about it because a few other anglers have been turning up, so I've been seeing the shows but I haven't been walking down the bank to see where they're at because I don't want anybody else knowing the fish are there. Yeah, gotta be sneaky when it's busy. Right, that's me moved. Not my most epic move, just one swim, but brilliant. So I've got two zigs out, one by the island, one kind of off it. And I've got a bottom bait rod out here, but it's a pop-up with about 6 mini spawns over it, which is pretty hard to do in the wind. And when the wind dies down, I might recast that rod just to make sure it's spot on. But already a fish has shown over it, so I might not as well. Yeah, really happy. Just to let you guys in on a secret, about 2 hours ago when I saw the first show down here, I walked down here with my leading rod, had a little cast around, which is why I could get that left-hand rod on the bottom with some bait over it so quickly. So there's a little tip for you: if you see a fish show, it might be worth just sticking a lead on it. Not necessarily to fish for that fish, but so if it continues to happen, if more fish join it, you've then got a spot to go on. We're in. Turn my film off. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Nice male tench there. I'll have to get this rod back out quick because probably only got another maybe hour and a half before I have to go home. Right, let's do that now. Well, these sessions were in danger of having nearly no fish in them. But here's a nice little male tench. Beating me up because I kept him in the net for a little while. I was putting that other rod back out. There were so many carp in the area. Don't mind admitting, I'm a little bit disappointed with the tench when it went off because it weeded me up to begin with, which made me think it could be a carp. But now I've seen the carp showing a little bit further away to my right, so I wonder if they're now on the other side of the island, unfortunately, and I've not really got time to do anything about it. But yeah, at least I got the alarms singing and saved a blank. Cheers, mate. Oh, christened my new net as well, because this net my brother got me for my birthday. Fantastic. Yeah. Nice off you go, mate. Lovely. Well, here's a familiar sight, me bumping down a track out of here. And yeah, I was proved right at the end there. After I packed away, a big fish, jumped other side of the island. So I think as the day's been going on, that group of fish I've been after had been moving further and further right. And what I probably should have done was moved maybe a couple of hours before I did. When I did that initial lead-in of that second swim, I probably should have fished it then. But you know, I'd seen so many fish where I was at to begin with that I didn't want to move. But anyway, yeah, caught a nice tench, didn't blank, and it was great to be fishing for showing fish. I haven't really had that often this year, so just, yeah, fantastic stuff. Anyway, I'm out of here. Sophie's promised me a McDonald's, so yeah, I'm buzzing for that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're out over the weekend or during the week, hope you catch a big one, and I'll see you next time.